of stuff, feelings. Yeah. Oh, I didn't look like this when I was little either. No one gets this. This is part of a costume that no one gets, so I get it. Okay. When I was a child, I had an imaginary brain. I think it's because of all the movies my dad showed me. So when I was in school, I didn't really think about school all that much. While we were learning things, I would just imagine I was in a different place, like space. I believe I was hanging out with Captain Kirk, or fighting with Luke Skywalker, or being Princess Leia, you know, like what normal kids would do. And I would think I was in a different time place, like I was a princess in a Victorian period, and I would just dance with the pretty princess and wear all the pretty dresses. Or I was married to Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys, because he's live. I didn't know at the time I was in 2nd grade that I was actually failing school. I didn't pay attention in class because my mind would just wander with all these stories, and I didn't know how bad I was doing in school until my parents and my teacher sat me down and said, "You're going to be repeating the 2nd grade." At first, I didn't understand what they were talking about. Repeating the 2nd grade, what does that mean? And my teacher said that I would be learning the same material over again, and I would have her again, which I loved her. She was a great nun, not mean and scary. She was really gentle, and when she gave you hugs, it was just she used her whole entire body to hug you. So it was like a teddy bear, but human. So it was that was great. I miss her. And it was just, she said I would have to be your teacher again, but everyone else in your class would be advancing to the next level, but you won't. And my heart stopped because I was like, well, I was just confused because I didn't understand the concept. And my parents said it's just going to be hard, but we'll deal with it, and you will be fine in the end. And I thought that too. But on the first day of the 2nd day of kindergarten, 2nd grade, sorry, it was hard because I was entering this new environment. I was entering a new environment because everyone around me knew each other. And I was a year older than everyone, so I felt a little misplaced. Everyone had their own cliques, their own friendships, and I was just the new kid, basically, even though I was still in the same school. And 2nd grade was tough, but I stopped imagining that I was married to Nick Carter. That was saved for dreams at home. I was not a princess. I was not hanging out with Captain Kirk and fighting with Luke Skywalker and being Princess Leia. I cut that out. And I thought everything was okay until it wasn't. In 3rd grade, I remember this very vividly. I was in line for lunch, standing there, waiting patiently, and having this a song play in my head. It was the Spice Girls, Wannabe. In line, listen, pretending like the song was in my head, and then a girl came up to me. She was an old peer of mine who I thought was my friend, and we started talking. We were talking, and I was like, you know what? This feels normal. I feel normal. Until she asked me a very important question that she thought she had to ask me. She asked me, so, are you going to repeat 3rd grade? I said, no. Why would you ask? She said, well, since you repeated the 2nd grade, and I just assumed that you were just going to repeat the 3rd grade because you're so incredibly stupid, why would you advance to the next grade? And I was like, what? I was deeply hurt, and I started to cry, and then she laughed at me for crying, because she's mean. And so after that, I completely shut down. I basically did not socialize anymore. All the happiness that I felt just went outside my head because I believed her. I believed that I wouldn't pass 3rd grade, because if I didn't pass 2nd grade, why would I pass the next step? And so we will fast forward 2 years later. I left that school and went to a different school. And I found friends, I thought. It's a new environment, fresh start, no one knows who I am. And then fast forward 2 years, and I found friends, and then I told them everything that's happened to me, all the bullying that I endured because I repeated second grade. I was called stupid, dumb, retarded, anything bad, I was called that. Then, my new school, they called me emotionally unstable because I told everyone all the feelings I felt while being bullied. And that school was worse. I was made fun of from everything. The way I dressed, even though we wore uniforms, I didn't hike up my skirt, I didn't wear makeup. I didn't learn fashion until later in life. The way I talked, my interest, the way I said Jerry Springer, I was laughed at. I know, weird. Everything I was made fun of, and I was also ignored. People would just stand there and laugh at me for no apparent reason. And I felt completely alone. And I just thought, and then I told my mom, and my mom's like, well, just stick it out. You have another year of school. I said, I don't think I can. Like, I'm feeling all these emotions that I shouldn't. And then while that was happening, I actually told them another story about my sister because she was having a hard time too. She attempted suicide, and I told a friend because I felt vulnerable. I felt sad because my sister wanted to die. She didn't tell me. And then when I told someone at my school, they laughed at her. They spread lies about her. They altered the story, and they just thought that it was so funny that my sister tried to take her life. And it wasn't funny, and it was really sad for a long time because of that. And then, yeah. So, well, I learned, how my story of the sadness and bullying, it connects to, socially, too. Everyone goes through some sort of bullying in their lives, not only me, but my sister did too, and a lot of other people too. So I don't feel alone in that sense, but I feel like my feelings and emotions are different than what other people would think. So that's my story. Thank you for listening.